Alright, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really surprised by what was reported for Battlefield 6 today. For all that we've heard about a key pillar of the game still upcoming, today we got a report that kind of turns that all upside down, but more importantly, it may make this fall even busier. So drop your thoughts as we go along, drop a like if you enjoy the video, and make sure to subscribe for more Battlefield 6 content among other FPS coverage. Like I said, it is going to be an absurdly busy fall here that appears to get even busier, so if you'd like to join the community, I'd love to have you. But for now, let's get into it. So let's talk about some initial reports. For Battlefield 6, it's been a kind of worst kept secret that we're gonna get a Battle Royale at some point. It was never officially mentioned until recently, where it was announced it was being tested via labs, but again, worst kept secret. The earliest and up until recently most up-to-date reports suggested that we wouldn't see a Battle Royale for Battlefield 6 until sometime in early 2026. Logically, this made sense. Let Battlefield 6 take flight, let players experience the game in full, drop a season of content around the holidays or so, and then when things start to die down a bit after the holidays and into those sort of Q1 woes where usually it's kind of a major bummer in the gaming space in terms of new things coming out for games, that's when you start ramping up to market and eventually drop the Battle Royale while giving ample time between your launch and the dreaded GTA 6 launch in the springtime. That seemed to make the most sense, and up until today, that was the general assumption. However, today's newest reporting suggests something different entirely, something much, much closer on the horizon. According to Modern Warzone, someone who primarily has reported on Call of Duty in the past, but who's also one of the leading outlets there for news on that front, he reported, sources, Battlefield 6 Battle Royale is currently planned to launch on October 28th, 18 days after the launch of the game. The date is subject to change, as always, especially with the BR currently in testing in Battlefield Labs, but I've heard it is the current plan for launch. Following up by saying original reports that were widely published had Battle Royale set for months after launch, but I was always told the plan was for the Battle Royale to arrive shortly after launch, not months later. Recently got enough to post publicly about it and have always been told that rumor was inaccurate. So, wow, did not expect to see this today, though logically it does kind of make sense. If you were to say split the options I think for marketing into two, both of these options would make sense. The one that we had seen already that was rumored to be in the springtime, that would be one way, but this way also makes sense. While you can discount that spring launch from Warzone originally, this is a mirror of how we've seen things work in Call of Duty the last 5 years, with a major launch of some kind here in the Season 1 offering. And it sure seems like they're trying to take it to Call of Duty this year, which again, competition's great to have, but mirroring basically that launch format. But logically speaking, beyond just trying to take it to your competitor, it makes a lot of sense from an economical perspective. Q4 is the biggest spend time for consumers, and I'd wager that minus summer, it's leading in time played too, if not even exceeding that, because while people are off in the summer, like kids from school and college, the weather's cold, there's not much to do outside in the northern hemisphere, while also coinciding with multiple extended holiday breaks. So you combine playtime and spending power, it's a no-brainer as to why so many games launch for that fall window and why they try to launch the secondary portion, a free-to-play portion, with a heavy emphasis on pushing mainline sales shortly after the launch and getting into that holiday window. Now, as for the competition side of things here, I sincerely believe this also does have something to potentially try and undercut COD, and I think it has the chance to undercut COD a bit. That too big to fail mention could come back to make a dent in their sales. I'm not saying it's going to bury Black Ops 7 this year, because market share and name recognition alone will sell Black Ops 7 and the subsequent Warzone integration like hotcakes. Launching both experiences, though, before even their main experience of Black Ops 7 is quite the lofty and ambitious play here. Giving the whole scope of what to expect with Battlefield 6 before even one releases for COD is either genius and diabolical, or might be playing your cards a little too quickly. Had the reporting of the Q1 launch been accurate, I would have been perfectly fine with spacing out these things, allowing players to not burn out on the experience perhaps instead of having 2 launches within 3 weeks, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see if this does hold up. One thing that I will say though is that it does seem like it spells confidence in their product at least. If all the initial reports suggested they were waiting until spring to launch it 3 to 5 months before those initial intentions, you gotta feel good about your product to make that call. It seemed like from recently leaked footage that it was pretty fleshed out and that it was even likely an old build, and it still looked pretty good. Admittedly, a lot of the leaks out there were not the best in terms of quality, like we talked about how bitrate may have been something that contributed to, oh, this doesn't look all that great, but that very well could have just been like the upload quality. You couldn't quite tell exactly out of that. Some were a bit better quality than others, but for the most part, we were still missing some visual context in some capacity. But hey, it does seem like they are confident, again, if they are willing to challenge Call of Duty this heavily. One thing to consider, though, is that all of this can change. It's all subject to change. It's a rumor, it's a leak right now that, as it stands, it's not a solid date. It's one singular report, and even mentioned by Modern Warzone, it's a date that is subject to change. Other industry insiders like Tom Henderson have mentioned, this comes at an interesting time as I'm currently working on a story around it, but if this is the targeted release, I think they'll move it. So other industry insiders think that they will end up launching it at a different time than October 28th. So do bear in mind that it is quite possible that is the case. One thing that additionally hangs in the balance, though, of this is Season 1. It appears like that target is, again, the Season 1 launch for Battlefield 6, not just the Battle Royale itself. So if those two are tethered together, that means we'll also see included in that those 3 maps we could potentially see already leaked of Badlands, Eastwoods, and the reimagination or remaster, whichever one it ends up being, of Downtown from Hardline. What weaponry and other items that come along with that are still a mystery, but it appears like that initial goal is to tether Battle Royale with that launch of Season 1. So that could mean that we have premium content coming at that point as well, and that could be something that's maybe a more solid date compared to the Battle Royale. Like, think of it as an in-season update, perhaps, that if that date for Battle Royale moves back, it's possible the 28th is still the Season 1 launch date for Battlefield 6, bringing mainline premium multiplayer content and perhaps other stuff and updates to, like, Portal, while the Battle Royale is pushed back a month or so, or 2 months, whatever the case may be. Personally, though, I'm very curious on how this is going to work out. Obviously, any update will keep you in the loop here on the channel with it, but, like, I truly did not see this coming. I think on one hand, it makes a lot of sense, and from the perspective of someone, if you're only going to be playing Battlefield 6, you are eating so good before the holidays if this happens. But for me personally, as somebody that is covering and playing a bunch of games, selfishly, I'm like, please don't launch right now, because I already don't know when I'm going to get sleep between Ghost of Yodi, Battlefield 6, potentially the Battlefield 6 BR, Arc Raiders, which is going to launch 2 days after this leaked date of Battlefield 6's Battle Royale, and then Black Ops 7, all in the span of 43 days. If this happens exactly as it seems, I don't know when I'm going to sleep. I'm selfishly hoping it's moved back a bit, just because, again, probably the big thing for me is Arc Raiders, and as an Embark fan, a fan of Arc Raiders, I'm really hoping that game doesn't get the Titanfall treatment, where it's just lodged in between multiple different major events that has just kind of lost the test of time. I do think that over time, it'll do just fine by comparison. Like, I think that's a slow burn game for sure. But it was such a spectacular experience in the tech test and everything early that I do hope that it's not overshadowed where people miss out on the excitement of that game initially as well. But personally, I still think that elongating that timeline a bit and giving yourself more real estate on the calendar makes sense logically. You'd own the market in a down period from January to March if you launch anywhere in that until when GTA 6 launches. Like, you would legitimately have zero competition at that point, but it is certainly bold to launch before COD's even main title. So I'm curious to see how this all shapes up, but just wanted to fill you guys in here on this new information for Battlefield 6 because it is quite the report. I did not see this coming at all when I woke up today. But anyways, drop your thoughts down below. Do you think it's too early to launch the Battlefield 6 Battle Royale? Do you think that it's the right time and they're going to undercut COD? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so don't miss a single thing running all things Battlefield 6 as we gear up for a very busy fall upcoming, including the launch of the main title and perhaps even the Battle Royale in just over a month's time. I'd love to have in the community for all that and more. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.